it's your girl! And in case you live under a rock and somehow don't know, there's an anime adaptation that's coming our way that was very much unpredicted. To the more well-informed weebs, the answer is pretty in your face as to what it is, but I'm going to assume you're stupid and tell you what it is nonetheless. And the answer to what is getting an adaptation is, of course, Uzumaki. And not this fucking Naruto shit, you dumb bitch. That's right, guys, not a figure holder anymore! You're getting your own video now, little wee baby. Uzumaki is a manga created by the infamous Junji Ito that revolves around a town that is plagued with spirals. It is absolutely filled to the brim with unsettling imagery that will make you feel flabbergasted and yet also traumatized, but like in a good way. Now, I love horror a lot, and I love horror in essentially everything, but mostly manga. So when I heard that one of my favorite horror manga artists is getting yet another adaptation, my reaction was pretty predictable. Uzumaki is one, if not the best one, of Junji Ito's works due to the fact that it makes the reader feel so unsettled, be it with its art or with what the characters are doing to each other. The deaths were never pleasant, and each villager seemed to be living in their own personal hell while we just stared at them feeling super uncomfortable in a way akin to how you feel when you have trinophobia. Uzumaki became a cult classic for that very reason, and it's that very reason that rocked our anime community so much. And it's because the anime community holds this manga so near and dear to its heart that our first initial thought after hearing of its adaptation is, fuck. Now, the announcement trailer didn't really give much away as to how it's going to be animated, so anybody who's complaining about the animation of it yet is an overreaction and should honestly just be ignored. And if that was the only complaint, it should be left at that. But it isn't, and there's actually sadly a plethora of reasons why we're scared. First, I'll answer this now. My feelings towards this announcement, yeah, it's fear. Why? Numerous reasons, but one of the reasons is still a reason that shocks me to this day, because of how badly other companies have adapted his works. Now, I'm not too picky on how an anime works. I'm fine with minimal lip flaps. I'm fine with background characters looking like their parents are related. What I'm not fine with is when a creative and well-drawn story transforms into the biggest B-horror movie that comes to mind. And yes, that can be none other than Gyo. Gyo admittedly has a very B-movie plotline, with it being about fish that grow legs and then come onto land and start terrorizing people, but although it has such a bizarre plot, the manga has a very different connotation to the anime, and that's the fact that it's actually fucking scary. Instead of you sitting there laughing at how bad the CGI looks, you're sitting there thinking, well shit, how scary would it be if all the things that we felt safe from in the ocean suddenly did come to us? And it's done in such a way that although you know the thought is ridiculous, it makes you feel such impending dread. The reason for that being is that every panel is drawn in such bizarrely frightening detail that it makes you see the fear on the characters' faces, where you know this isn't happening to you, but if it did, that's the exact face you would be making. And it isn't poorly written or poorly paced, so it feels like, although it's such an odd story, that it could happen one day. As weird as that is to say, it makes you feel like this could happen. It makes you feel like this is believable. And that's something that Junji is just fucking genius at in all of his works, but especially in the manga version of Gyo. And I feel that especially because how ridiculous of a thought would it be if, fish started just grow legs and go attack the people on the surface? Okay, but how would they breathe out water? But even so, even if they were somehow able to just grow legs, I mean, that just sounds ridiculous and stupid. I keep saying that, but the way he portrays it, it definitely feels like it could happen one day, and it doesn't feel stupid to think that. But I would be amiss if I were to say that the Gyo movie was bad. It's not bad, and just like how Studio Dean's adaptation of Junji Ito's short stories isn't bad, it does raise a concern in the community that's been there since the beginning of time. And that's the fact that horror manga does not translate well into horror anime. Now, I know I'm opening a can of worms because people will fight to the death that scary anime can exist, and in some ways I can agree, like maybe with how it's scripted about a certain scary topic that can make you think more about it, but that's really it. Like nothing can be done in anime that can be more frightening. And the reason why horror anime just can't really be scary is because it's anime. And the reason why horror anime can't be scary is because it feels really unrealistic, and partially that's because it's anime. Junji Ito is a perfect example of this, because in all of the adaptations of his works, they all lack one thing, and that's the ability to make the viewer look at an image and feel an image stare into your soul and make you feel so unsettled. And when you look at this image, you can maybe hear the most disoriented, scary voice that you can think of, or see it move in the creepiest way that you can imagine. But the anime takes those creatures and takes those scary panels and they make it anime. They give it color and maybe some lackluster shading and give it some movements that when you actually see it, it's weirdly kind of hilarious. Junji puts painstaking detail in each panel of everything he draws in order to make the viewer feel super uncomfortable and beyond traumatized, that when you see its animated version, it's nothing like its predecessor. I don't want to lose that grotesque fear of when I see that girl's head slowly turn into a spiral. I don't want to lose the mystery of trying to figure out what the fuck is happening in this town, and it might be lost in scripting, and these are just some of the reasons why the community is so fucking scared. Seeing how the animators aren't the same animators that have done his previous works, I am remaining hopeful. I am looking forward to seeing how it gets adapted. I do think that the only way that it can be perfectly done, in my opinion right now, is a perfect mix of the anime and manga being somehow coexisting in the same material. I don't know how, I don't know how that would go, but it sounds like the perfect way. I mean, that style would be revolutionary, and even if it isn't that style, as long as it's not the style of anime that we are all expecting, I'm sure we're all gonna love it. And I'm talking about this now because I can almost assure you that when this movie fucking comes out, I'm going to be making a video either bitching the shit out of it or praising the fuck out of it. It's just a matter of time, my guys. And I know my opinion on this is a few weeks late. I initially didn't want to make a video on this because I thought my opinion would just be like a million of other people's, even though I love Junji Ito so much. But, you know, also, here we are, making the video! Either way, I know this movie will definitely shake the anime community in some way, and in other ways, I am just really glad that Junji Ito's work is getting more out there and more readily getting known to other people. Even if it might be a bad adaptation. I mean, here I am talking about Uzumaki! I'm talking about Junji Ito, and being able to just talk about him myself and tell you guys, if you haven't read him, to go the fuck read him. I mean, at least something good came out of this, right? But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I love making the content I do, but because it's so odd, it is often demonetized. So, if you are thinking about supporting this channel, then please click this link here, or check out the link in the description. Thank you guys again, and